Hello! I'm going to demonstrate the use of the #388 ASCII function, which is an unofficial add-on for 8-bit. I'm going to use Notepad++ only because that's the editor I use. In the end, it's just an ASCII drawing. I'm going to speed up this tutorial, I'm going to show you stuff that I've already done. So let's take a brief look here at some stuff I've already done. So I drew the word Luigi, and I drew it using characters other than the characters that you would find. Actually, in this case, I used zeros and ones. So let me just get this going here. Basically, the drawing in ASCII is converted into, so it's kind of hard to read, but there actually is an L here. And in Notepad, the only reason I use Notepad++ for this is because I can do Alt Select and I can select regions that are in a grid. So here we have part of the L, and here is the next part of the L, and then the U is up here. And you can kind of garner that I've written the whole word to show you what it looks like in 8-bit. Let me just make this a little bigger, and I'll just type so to get it to display, I type think, and then U, open parenthesis, #388 / ASCII, comma, and then U, open parenthesis, Luigi, which is just the attribute on me that I've stored this data. And then I close that and hit return. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on. Oh, it's Luigi 2, sorry. Okay, so you see there, it looks like this. Okay, and basically I've drawn it here with zeros and ones. Now, I actually don't recommend using zeros and ones unless you really know what you're doing. But let's do a new drawing that's so the constraints of ASCII is that it has to be an even number of lines. So there's 2 pixels per line. Wait one sec. Yeah. So there's 2 pixels per line. I'm sorry. There's one set of lines, 2 pixels per 2 lines. But when they have to be an even number. If they're not an even number, the image will get cut off in an odd way. So we'll do a 10-line ASCII drawing. So what I recommend doing, so if you know anything about hexadecimal, you know that hexadecimal uses A, B, C, D, E, F, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These characters are special in the world of this ASCII function, so don't use them unless you're drawing. So there's 2 ways to use the drawing of the ASCII function. The first way I'm going to show you is the color programmable version, and the second one I'll show you is kind of the raw ASCII version. When I say ASCII, I'm talking about the function ASCII on the #388 object, which is the OpenGL fancy object. So here we have these characters. So forget these characters. Don't use them. But when you're making a drawing, you can use any other characters. So we're going to use G and H to create basically a template for a drawing. Now it has to be an even number of lines up and down, and it's also recommended to make it an even number of columns. So we'll just make it 20. And the aspect ratio is actually kind of squashed. It's kind of like half the height. So keep that in mind. Experiment a little bit. Do a small drawing that's only maybe 6 by 6. In fact, so we'll just do a 6 by 6 or 6 by 12 drawing. So here's a 6 by 12 6 by 12 drawing, and we'll see what that looks like. So the characters I'm going to use are G and H. So I'm just going to put a border around this. There's 12. Oops. And put a border around that. Okay. And then because this is Notepad++, I can select an area. So we're going to just fill that in with G's. And then we're going to put some H's here. Okay. So now we have basically a box. Now there's H and G. Let's pick another character which will represent another set of color, and we'll make it K. So we'll just put some K's here in the center, and there you go. So there's an ASCII drawing, and I could have used special characters to make it. This was designed to be able to take those old ASCII drawings and with just a few search for places be able to convert them into a fancy. So each of these is a half block. So H and G together make one character, and this set of two lines is one set of characters on one line when you actually convert it. So at the end of each line we put a %R, okay, to encode this as being the end of the line. Okay, and then we put it all on one line. And now we've got a string of our drawing that is encoded with special characters. So the next thing we can do is go in here and just test it. But the thing about testing it is you have to remember that there's these three characters, H, G, and K. So instead of just using the ASCII function, we actually use another function called edit, which allows you to replace a character with another character, and you can do a long list of these. So what I'm typing now is think, and then I'm going to say open bracket U, open parenthesis #388 / ASCII, comma, and then open bracket edit, open parenthesis, paste my string in there. Now I'm going to replace the H and the G with base 64 codes that match the number on plus palette. So plus palette shows you a palette of fancy colors. Now if you go get a copy or a child of #388 object, you can do this by typing at clone #388, I think. If not, you can at create an object and then parent it to #388. You can type plus palette /16, and this will show you all of the base 64, the hexadecimal codes excuse me, that match the fancy colors. So we see here that 55 is kind of an odd green, 5E is a brownish hue, and C4 is a red. So it's right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that we have this command, and it looks like this. Looks like this, and then it goes to edit, and then I've pasted my string in here, which you could store in an attribute. Then comma. In fact, I'll just store this in an attribute. That'll just be easier. So I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to go ampersand test.drawing me equals, and then that. Okay. So now I can go edit, and then U, and then test.drawing, right, comma. Now it's H, G, and K, so I would go like H, comma, and I don't know if you can use capital, lowercase. I don't know if that matters. If so, you have an even broader range of possibilities. But anyway, so we're going to go with C4 for H. For G, we're going to go with, let's see, let's look at the palette here. We're going to go with 55 for G. And then for K, we're going to do FC, which is, and that can be lowercase or uppercase. That doesn't matter. It's just that this character that's going to be replaced, I believe, has to be the same. Anyway, and then we're good with that. So we have the three colors replaced. So these codes are the base 64, and you can just replace them with any color you want. So you can make it programmable. Let me just show you what this outputs. So that was the edit, and then we're going to close the final function there. And I'm just going to paste this command in, and you'll see that it looks like that, which is just like the drawing. Now it's half as tall as it appeared originally. So let's go in here and make some changes to our drawing. Okay. Now I usually keep several copies open, one that's been put into one line, one that's not, and then you have to keep converting it into that one line. In Notepad, there's text effects, and you can use that to some extent, but maybe your editor does something different. Anyway, we're just going to double the number of lines. So this would be H and G, 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 H, and then this one would be H, G, G, H, and then this one would be a copy of this line, basically. and this one would be a copy of this line, and this one would be a copy of this line, and then we're going to leave the ends as just the one line. So we're at 11. Ooh, we're at 11. We can't do 11. So one way to fix that is to have a black color as 0, or as like, actually X would be better. The reason why we can't use A to G and 0 to 9 is because when edit does the replace, it's going to end up replacing those later. So what happens is it'll go through once. Say if I use 0 here, I could get away with it if I replace the 0 character first, but if I replace the 0 character later in this list of replacements, it could corrupt 0A, for instance. If 0A was a color, it'll end up replacing that, and we wouldn't want that to be corrupted. So we'll just leave that alone. And I guess I'll double the... I have to double one more line. I'll double one of the center lines. And now we have 12 lines. And that's an even number. And we still have 12 columns. Even though it says 14, there's really 12. %R means end of line. So we're going to just create a duplicate here and make it into one line. Okay. Now I can replace test.drawing me equals that. Okay. And then I'm just going to change the colors here. So we'll make it 04, A5. Wait, is there an A5? Yes, there is. And 87, which would be the base 64 version of 87, not the decimal version. Alright, so let's just paste that in there. And now you can see it's different colors with kind of... I see what I did wrong there. Let me go up here and remove this center one and place this one down here. Now I made a change to the drawing, so I'm going to have to copy that again. So this is method 1, and allows you to have programmably colored images. Okay. Now you can store these as regular pics using a simple collection of functions that I guess I can share with you, or Luigi can tell you about, or you can ask about on Crazy Computer Speak. Alright, test.drawing me equals this new drawing. And now I'll show you the difference. So there, it's a centered square inside of the square inside of the square. Now you can draw in there whatever you want, and you can use as many colors as you want, and you can program the colors any way you want. In fact, there's a way to write this in Mush code so that it draws these changes from a list that you create. So you could have a randomly generated list. You have lots of code options, but essentially that's how you create a template that allows you to color an image. Now, like I said before, edit is the command that does the color replacements. You could also draw using 2 characters. So you can say A0, A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, and then whatever other colors. AC, you see they're right here. So we have like AC, and it can be lower or uppercase. AC 80, B2, B3, BF, BE. Let's go with 88F, 90. 7E, 7D, 7C, okay, and then one more line, which would be, let's see, FE, FD, FC, FB, FD, C2. Okay, so now we have these 4 lines. This is what you feed into the ASCII function. This is the raw data, and this is an unchangeable image. So you can just take this and make a duplicate, and go ahead and copy that. We'll place that into test.drawing.ascii so that we make a distinction. It's not the same. And now we'll do think u open parenthesis #388/ASCII comma u open parenthesis test.drawing.ascii close parentheses. Hit return, and you see that was the pixels that I picked, the exact colors that I picked. And so you have A0, A1, A2, A3, A4. I may eventually create some sort of thing in Game Maker that does some of this stuff, but I'm not really ready to commit to that. There's not really a lot of money involved in 8-bit, so it's kind of, it's hard to keep it high on the priorities list, but I do. Plus I have like a million projects, but that is the gist of it. You can draw with a single character, or you can draw with the base 64 version, the hexadecimal version of plus palette, which is plus palette/16. Once you get a copy of the OGL object, and that's the shortest tutorial I can think of on this. So have a great day, enjoy yourself, and good luck creating some cool images.